It was raining the day Ivy's world began to rot. Not the kind of soft rain that whispers on rooftops. No, this was the kind that stung, that washed dirt into graves and soaked through your bones like a warning. Ivy sat by her bedroom window, legs pulled to her chest, watching raindrops race each other down the glass. She hadn't left the room much since her mom died. Her dad said it wasn't healthy, but what did he know? That day, he pulled into the driveway in his old black Honda. But he wasn't alone. Ivy blinked hard, squinting through the rain. A woman stepped out from the passenger seat. Tall, expensive-looking, black heels too high for the mud. Her red lipstick didn't smudge, not even in this storm. Ivy's throat tightened. She felt her chest twist with something she didn't have words for yet. Her mother's perfume still lingered on the hallway curtains. Yet here this woman stood, walking into her house like she owned it. Her name's Veronica, Ivy's father said later, standing in the living room like a scared boy. She's been helping me through a lot. I want you to be nice. Veronica smiled with teeth too white. Hi, sweetheart. Ivy didn't answer. She just stared, because something was off. The woman's eyes didn't match her smile. Something behind those lashes was dead. Ivy didn't know it yet, but a demon had just entered her house wearing red lipstick and a wedding ring. And that demon was going to send her to an early grave. Ivy didn't sleep much after that night. Veronica moved in the next day. Fast, like she was trying to erase every trace of Ivy's mother. Her mother's picture disappeared from the living room wall. Her favorite mug accidentally broke. Her scented candles were too much for Veronica's allergies. Ivy watched it all silently. But the house started noticing. It started with small things. The hallway lights flickered at exactly 3:15 a.m. every morning. Ivy would hear faint knocks on her door, but when she opened it, nothing. Then came the whispers. They didn't sound like words at first, just breaths in the dark, cold air curling around her ears. One night, she woke up to her bedroom, door slowly creaking open on its own. She didn't move, didn't scream, but she heard it. A voice, clear as thunder, low and broken. She doesn't belong here. Ivy stared into the black hallway. Her heart thundered in her chest. She whispered back, Mom? Silence. But as she turned her head toward the mirror in her room, she saw it. A pale face behind her own reflection. Eyes wide, mouth sewn shut, gone in a blink. She screamed. Her dad came running in, but Veronica followed close behind. Probably just a nightmare, she said, fake concern dripping from her voice like poison. But Ivy knew. Something was trying to talk to her. Something was still in the house. And it hated Veronica just as much as she did. Ivy started waking up with headaches. Blinding ones. Like her skull was splitting in half. She told her father, but he barely looked up from his laptop. You've been stressed, Ivy. Veronica got you something to help. A small brown bottle appeared on her nightstand that night. No label. Just a sticky note. 2 drops before bed. V. Ivy didn't trust it, but the pain was real, and she was tired. So she took it. Once. Then again the next night. The third night, she woke up in the bathtub, shivering, with no memory of how she got there. Her teeth chattered. Her fingertips were blue. She stumbled to the mirror. Her face looked thinner, paler. Veronica stood behind her, suddenly, silently. You should rest more, she whispered. You're falling apart, sweetheart. Ivy stared at her own reflection and saw a flicker. For one blink, she saw herself dead, skin sunken, mouth purple. She screamed. Her father ran in again, always too late, always confused. Maybe she needs stronger medicine, Veronica suggested sweetly. Ivy tried to refuse. She begged, but every meal, every drink, every glass of water, Veronica always served it, and Ivy began to weaken. Her hands shook. Her hair started falling out. Her bones pressed against her skin like they were trying to escape. She started seeing things. A figure standing in the hallway. Her mom's wedding ring floating in the toilet bowl. She was losing time. Veronica would smile and say, You poor thing. You're sick, just like your mother. Ivy's voice grew faint. Her body gave up. And one night, she didn't wake up at all. Ivy woke up in darkness. Not her room, not her bed. Cold cement beneath her. Damp air, the low hum of silence. Her head pounded, her lips cracked. Her eyes adjusted slowly. Wooden beams, hanging chains, rusted tools. The basement. She tried to stand but collapsed. Her legs were too weak. On the workbench beside her, a folded piece of paper. She crawled toward it, trembling hands unfolding the note. Inside were old photos of her mom. In some, Veronica was in the background, but not as a friend, as the nurse. A nurse who was there the week Ivy's mother suddenly got worse. And behind the photos, an old pill bottle. Same medicine. Her eyes widened. It wasn't stress. It wasn't grief. Veronica had poisoned her mother. Footsteps. Ivy panicked, shoving the photos under her shirt, heart racing. Veronica appeared at the top of the stairs, calm, elegant, holding a teacup. "Ivy, you poor thing," she whispered. "You found your mother's little souvenirs." Ivy's voice was dry. "You killed her." Veronica came closer, step by step. "It's not about killing, sweetheart. It's about clearing space." Ivy tried to run, but her body didn't listen. The last thing she saw was the teacup smashing against the ground, and Veronica's hands around her throat. Then silence, stillness, darkness. Ivy was gone, and Veronica walked back upstairs like nothing happened. The casket was closed. Ivy's father sobbed into a handkerchief that smelled like whiskey. Veronica stood beside him in all black, smiling. The funeral was short. Small town. Few people. They said Ivy died in her sleep. Weak heart, the doctor claimed. The same one who owed Veronica a favor. No one asked questions. No one saw the bruises. Ivy was buried under the weeping oak at the edge of Black Hollow Cemetery. Rain fell again, just like the day Veronica arrived. At the burial, a raven landed on the casket and refused to leave. "Bad luck," the old gravedigger whispered. But Veronica just laughed. She was already bad luck, she said coldly. That night, the wind howled louder than it had in years. Veronica sat by the fireplace, sipping wine, alone. Ivy's dad had passed out drunk. She picked up Ivy's locket from the coffee table. The one she kept after the body was buried. It burned her hand. She hissed and dropped it. The fireplace died instantly. The lights flickered. And upstairs, the bedroom door Ivy once slept behind creaked open, all by itself. A shadow crossed the hallway. Veronica turned, but no one was there. Her wine glass shattered in her hand. The mirror above the fireplace cracked right down the middle. And from the broken glass, Ivy's voice whispered, "You shouldn't have smiled." The next morning, the air in the house was heavier. Not just cold, thick, like breathing through wet cloth. Ivy's father woke up disoriented, head pounding. His phone was dead. The power was out. Downstairs, the living room was trashed. Picture frame shattered, the fireplace soaked. "Earthquake," he muttered, but the ground hadn't moved. Veronica stood in the kitchen, pale, hair disheveled. "She's not gone," she whispered. Her husband blinked. "Who?" Veronica didn't answer. She dropped her teacup and walked out of the room. That night, the house changed. The floorboards groaned like something was crawling underneath. The TV turned on by itself. No cable, just static. Ivy's favorite song played faintly from the attic, a cassette she burned years ago. And on the mirror in Veronica's room, written in foggy letters, "Mommy says hello." Veronica scrubbed it clean. The next night, the letters came back. In blood. Her husband refused to see it. "You need rest." But Veronica was unraveling. She woke up to Ivy's voice humming from the closet. She opened it. Nothing. Then, suddenly, the closet door slammed shut behind her. Locked. She screamed. Pounded. No one came. From the darkness inside, she heard Ivy's whisper, "You made me drink it. Now it's your turn." A teacup rolled across the floor and touched her bare foot. It was filled with black, rotting water. Veronica fainted. Scene 7. Her revenge was not human. The next morning, the air in the house was heavier. Not just cold, thick, like breathing through wet cloth. Ivy's father woke up disoriented, head pounding. His phone was dead. The power was out. Downstairs, the living room was trashed. Picture frame shattered, the fireplace soaked. "Earthquake," he muttered, but the ground hadn't moved. Veronica stood in the kitchen, pale, hair disheveled. "She's not gone," she whispered. Her husband blinked. "Who?" Veronica didn't answer. She dropped her teacup and walked out of the room. That night, the house changed. The floorboards groaned like something was crawling underneath. The TV turned on by itself. No cable, just static. Ivy's favorite song played faintly from the attic, a cassette she burned years ago. And on the mirror in Veronica's room, written in foggy letters, "Mommy says hello." Veronica scrubbed it clean. The next night, the letters came back, in blood. Her husband refused to see it. "You need rest." But Veronica was unraveling. She woke up to Ivy's voice humming from the closet. She opened it. Nothing. Then, suddenly, the closet door slammed shut behind her. Locked. She screamed. Pounded. No one came. For the darkness inside, she heard Ivy's whisper. "You made me drink it. Now it's your turn." A teacup rolled across the floor and touched her bare foot. It was filled with black, rotting water. Veronica fainted. Scene 7. Her revenge was not human. Veronica didn't leave her room for 2 days. She covered the mirrors. She unplugged every light. But Ivy didn't care about lights anymore. Ivy had changed. She was no longer the quiet girl by the window. She was rot and wrath and something ancient now. On the third night, Ivy's dad found bloody handprints all over the hallway walls, child-sized. He panicked, called the priest. But the moment Father Bennett stepped through the door, he vomited black water and collapsed. Veronica stood frozen. The living room walls began to bleed. Paintings dripped red. Ivy's photo turned upside down on its own. Then, the screaming started. Not from Veronica, from the walls. Ivy's voice, hundreds of times, all layered, crying, then laughing, then begging. The chandelier exploded. A dark, twisted figure crawled from the hallway ceiling. Face half-burned, hair matted, in a white nightgown soaked in grave water. "Ivy," Veronica backed into a corner, weeping. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I didn't mean to." Ivy's voice interrupted her, but it wasn't coming from her mouth. It came from the walls, the floor, the mirrors. "I beg you to stop. You smiled when I died. Now I smile." Veronica turned to run, but the hallway stretched endlessly. Every door she opened led back to Ivy's room. On the bed, the same brown bottle. Next to it, Ivy's locket. And on the wall, scratched and fingernails. "Drink it." Veronica was no longer human. Her hair was gray now, her eyes sunken. Ivy had hunted her for 7 days and 7 nights, through shadows, memories, nightmares that bled into reality. But the final act waited in the master bedroom. The room was cold, frozen. The mirror, once elegant, now cracked into 1,000 thin spider veins. And in its reflection, Ivy stood. Not behind Veronica, inside the mirror. Her skin was stitched, rotting, but her eyes alive. Veronica gasped. Ivy spoke, voice layered in distortion, echoing like wind through a grave. "You smiled when I died, so now smile when you meet me." The mirror pulsed. A heartbeat, a vibration. Veronica's body lifted from the floor, dragged forward by unseen hands. She screamed, fought, but the mirror didn't care. It opened, not shattered. Opened like a doorway of wet flesh and smoke. Ivy's hands reached through. Veronica was pulled in. Feet first, then legs, then chest. She clawed at the floor, leaving bloody nail trails. And then, silence. The mirror sealed. The room brightened. Ivy's reflection disappeared. But if you look close, behind the glass, 2 figures now live there. One smiling, the other screaming.